Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Sally Page joining us here today from Saratoga, Connecticut. Heart Wound Soul is the name of her company and the website, heartwoundsoul.com. We're talking about healing and health, and she's really here today to talk more about the work that she can do to help you. Sally, welcome to the show today. How's it going?
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here today.
Great. Well, would you mind starting off by introducing yourself to our listeners?
Well, my name is Sally Page, and I used to be a NASA engineer. And for the past 20 years, I have been a medical intuitive. So my life has been a very interesting journey from science and technology to the intuitive, multidimensional world of healing for the body, mind, and soul.
Amazing. Well, we've got to get started. Where did you grow up? And amazing feat for you to be an engineer. Tell me a little about that journey and that career path before we start talking about this new career journey that you've been on for 20 years.
Well, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. I got a degree in engineering. I worked in R&D at Control Data. I went to a startup while I was still living there, and I came out here and got a job in California, where I live now, at NASA Ames Research Center, working on the SETI project. And I was there for several years, got sick with what the doctors thought was chronic fatigue, but it turned out to be metal poisoning, which they did not find until I had to leave California to find a doctor who was willing to look at other options, which was metal. It turned out to be metal poisoning, but he specialized in people who had been poisoned by toxins. And that was a big turnaround for me. And it took, this took months out of my life just to find out what it was. And then it took even longer to heal it. And in the process, coming from that environment of science and engineer work, I had to solve problems. I was just driven to do it. I worked with some of the top scientists and engineers on the planet. And in that environment, if you don't find a solution, you don't walk away, you keep digging, you explore, you look at it from a new perspective. So that's what I did with my health. And I started looking at natural medicine, and I was actually ready to go get degrees in it. When I found out I was pregnant with my son, I was set up to go into chiropractic college and do cadaver work. And the cadaver work has chemicals that you don't want to expose a fetus to. So I just stopped for a while. And then when my son was 17 months old, I came down with bacterial meningitis, which is the infection and inflammation of the two protective layers of meninges that protect your brain and spinal cord. So they're really vital and important.
Wow.
What happens is they swell. So it was caught very late, and the bacterial kind, there's a viral and bacterial. If you even catch the bacterial, your odds of survival are 50%. So it was crazy. I was in a coma for 6 days on life support. Everyone thought I was dying. They gave me 3 doses of the super drug for it, and I did not respond. My hands and feet turned black. I was curled up into a fetal position. They told my family I would not make it through the night. So through prayer vigil, I turned around.
Mm-hmm.
Super, super amazing recovery. Everyone was absolutely shocked. So what happened to me is I had my own journey of that experience while they were praying, hoping for a miracle, massaging my hands and feet in case a miracle occurred. I wouldn't lose my limbs. That's very common for bacterial meningitis. Everyone was shocked. Everyone in the hospital was shocked. Nurses and people that worked on me when I was really sick came when I was doing better, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd be alive." So that's where my real journey started, because I woke up knowing I chose to come back and live to raise my son. I knew I was just given a gift of this knowing that I would live to not just heal myself completely, but to help others heal in extraordinary ways that were far beyond Western medicine. And the doctors came to talk to me and they said, you know, we caught this very late. You had extensive damage. You're lucky to be alive. We don't expect much of a recovery. And even as they said those words, I knew it wasn't my reality. That inner knowing I had was so powerful and so strong. It was the gift that propelled me and inspired me to go forward. So I started researching and studying. I studied all different types of modalities. And I mean, I started, the first year was tough. I had to learn to walk. I had to have occupational therapy to learn how to sit on a shower stool and take a shower. It was a long journey of recovery. I struggled a lot for the first year. However, I'm here. I have all my fingers, all my toes, and I have spent the last 20 years helping people heal in extraordinary ways. So it's been a really profound journey for me.
This
And
is
when I see
powerful.
someone go through it, it is powerful. So lessons have been learned.
Okay, so it's heartwombsoul.com is the website.
Actually, that's not. It's the name of a
Oh,
product, one of my classes. My
okay.
website is actually, let me just tell people, if you stay tuned for the end of this, I'll give you the link to my gift, and that'll connect you with my website and my podcast, and you'll get a free gift of alchemical sound and light that will take you deeper in your meditations and help you find the truth of your heart and soul with clarity. And that is part of healing that we miss when we're not really healing to restore wholeness. Things like that are missed. But when you're sick and you're not healing, what are the pieces that are not being looked at or addressed? That's one of the pieces, is finding your inner truth and living it. People, especially people that go into chronic fatigue, autoimmune issues, women who have trouble with fertility, this can be underlying of so many different disease and health issues where your body's not working like you'd like to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying this is the only piece, but knowing the truth of your heart and soul, if you know it, and not all people know it, if you know it and don't live it, that's not going to be a healthy situation. If you're trying to find it, there are ways to find it by listening to your heart, listening to your soul. And that's something I teach people to do. And then another power component of healing, and this is really powerful, and it's really not even in the awareness of Western medicine and much of what is offered in medicine. We are spiritual beings. We're a soul. That soul is infinite and eternal, and it's multidimensional. And when we're not in harmony in our being with that soul, that is a misalignment of our energy flow and our life force energy.
Wow.
And the soul is the power of this soul igniting is love. And that's what's missing in medicine. There's a wonderful picture people can look at as the rescuing hug. It's a story of two twins that were born. They were put in the hospital in separate beds in the nursery. One was, I think, in an incubator, but they were preemies, and one was starting to die. And this is not what you're supposed to do in the hospital, but one of the nurses just thought, oh, that baby needs to have a hug from its twin. And as it was next to its twin, receiving the love, that love energy is life force energy. It's healing, life-giving, life force energy. And it's just not there in most healing modalities. So as these twins were together, the other one started to regain its color and vitality, and it lived, even though it wasn't, no one thought that twin would live. They thought it was in its last dying moments, but yeah, that love brought it back to life.
Wow.
Same thing happened for me. Love is a really big key that we're missing.
Wow.
Love is, this is your takeaway. Please write this down. Love is the superpower of humanity. It is the superpower of everything that helps us flourish and everything that gives us life, everything that supports our health.
Oh, wow. And so let me ask how it works. If someone's feeling Someone has a medical condition, doesn't really know what's wrong. They call you, reach out to you, and you can just kind of sense what's wrong with them. Like it's like a sixth sense. Can I say that?
It is. It is.
I mean,
It's multi layers of sensory perception that have been developed to do this work.
amazing. And you didn't have the gift until that moment when you were that sick, right? Growing up your whole life, did you ever have this kind of intuition, or was it not until
You know, everyone has intuition. Everyone is wired for it. All human beings are wired for this intuition. We shut it down. We have these little whispers of thoughts and inspiration, and we think, oh, that's not logical. And you push it away.
yeah.
I had done this in my life too. I was pushing my inner truth of my heart and soul. I was pushing it away. And life gave me a challenge. The first one was the metal poisoning, and I didn't quite get it. I didn't completely listen. I didn't completely embrace my truth. I was
Hmm.
starting to get it, but I wasn't acting on it. I was letting people around me shut it down. Like I wanted to go into a healing profession, and people are saying, what, you've got this amazing engineering degree, you've got this background, and they're like, that's a waste, go do engineering. And like, my heart, I love technology, I love science, and I spend a lot of time on my computer, but that didn't inspire the inner truth and purpose of my heart and soul.
Hmm. Wow. Well, let me just ask you a personal question. If you want to answer or not, it's about me. I'm not sure. I'm 45. I've been suffering my whole life, and you're going to look at me and you'll believe me, you'll know, with severe, they call it IBS, severe bloating. No matter what I eat, drink, put into my body, water does not matter. I've been to, Temple University, weeks of studies, gastroenterologist in New York City, and no one's ever been able to figure out what's wrong. Transit time's been normal. I'm not allergic to anything. The organs all look normal. Every test they've done over my life has been normal, but I live with a distended stomach when I eat. If I starve myself for a day, I feel great, the energy I have, and I'm not in pain and I'm not bloated. It's weird. I don't know what it is. And I've tried everything except hypnosis to try to find an answer to this. And since we're on live here today, baby, I could just ask you, is there a
Okay.
sense of anything that could it be? Could it be a
Yes,
past life trauma? What is
it's a
it?
past life trauma. Your body, soul, spirit is still holding grief from a past life trauma that you've carried into this lifetime, and it's shutting down your systems because you haven't found a way to address it and to go back and reset what happened.
Wow.
So one of the things I do with people is I go into a past life regression where you go back into a situation and you make a different choice. And some of these are shocking. I mean, there's I when when you've had a death experience, when you're in the grips of a trauma, without getting too personal with what's going on with you,
Oh, I don't mind. Whatever you're feeling, you could say it's okay. I'm an open book.
it's it's you were a witness to a murder and you weren't able to talk about it in the past life. So what I would do with you is a past life
I'm
regression.
obsessed with all I do is watch these murder mystery shows. I'm on the Madeline McCain story now. I'm obsessed with these crime shows. I watch, and I
Yeah,
have a 6 and 8 year old, so I don't watch much TV. When they go to bed, that's all I watch.
that's what you watch.
The
That's
Murdaugh
because
trial. I'm watching. I can't. I feel like I'm supposed to be watching
that
this.
is
I
the
don't know
inner part
why.
of you. Yeah, part of you is calling for this past life healing. So I would take you into a past life regression where you go back into this past life and you have the
Wow.
conversations to to reveal the murderer, where because you were in a position to stop a murderer, but you were too afraid to talk because you were threatened. So
Wow.
there's this grief that you held on to, and you actually died with that grief. And because that was locked into you, it's coming up in this lifetime because you're strong enough and you will have the ability to heal it in this lifetime if you choose to address it. If you don't, it will continue to make you sick until it either becomes
Wish I had a
unbearable
tissue.
or
I
you deal
don't.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's in. Wow. I just don't know what it is. I'm so connected to these murder shows and mysteries and crimes,
That's
and I
why.
don't understand. I'm like, am I? And I've been a reporter my whole life, but I never did investigative reporting. But I'm obsessed with the 2020, the Dateline, and I just my heart goes out to these people, and I'm like, how does someone kill, murder, especially the children? And I never put that connection together. I always wondered why I'm so obsessed with this. Um, and the person I am today, I mean, I could never imagine this person. I'm so open. So the first one to say something if I see something. So is that maybe a lesson I've learned because I was a meek, quieter person that was restrained? I mean,
It feels like it's been 8 lifetimes since that lifetime where you saw the murder, were afraid to talk, and you held that grief inside of you. So every lifetime you go through the steps to get stronger and stronger until you get to the point where you are now, where you can really look at it and address it. You've got to be ready to address this stuff. And when you are, that's where the difference is really profound and pivotal. And that's where healing happens. I've had a woman come into my office with a huge lump on her breast. She was sure she was like in a severe place with cancer. And as she told me about it, I said, just stop. I know you don't have cancer and I know what's wrong. And that was like in the first 3 minutes of her visit with me. I'm like, this is what happened. You need to go into a past life regression.
mhm.
You've got to make things worse. And she
Wow.
did. And by the
Wow.
end of the session, I'm like, okay, there's just one thing I need to do. I've got this tuning fork. I need to put it on your breast and clear that point. She pulls up her bra and I'm like, I don't see anything here. And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't see anything. I don't see discoloration. I don't see the lump. I see nothing. Because she, what she was describing was very visible and tangible. And she didn't show it to me before she got on the table. She's like, really? And she's looking down and I go, just point your finger to where it still hurts. She did. I put the tuning fork on it and a couple rounds of the tuning fork, even the pain of it was gone.
Amazing. And now this is in person, but
She,
you could still do the
yeah,
same benefit virtually with our energy.
it works a little bit differently, but yes, I do it virtually. I do Zoom calls online. And she walked out of there in a very different place than she came in. And they're not all this fast. She was ready. She'd done the work. She was ready. She'd worked with me before. And she was ready to face what she had to face. And she was strong enough to go back into a past life regression and make different choices and speak where she was afraid to speak before. So she had a biopsy done. There was no cancer,
Wow.
none.
And that's just one of them. Sure, many stories you have to tell, Sally, about the work you've done. How does it work? Let's talk about reaching out to you about the free gift offer. And this has been
Yay.
amazing for me. I'm still tearing up because I don't have a tissue. But
And because it actually resonates with you, because your body, heart, and soul know
and
that
I'm going to cry
you've been
again.
waiting for this moment to resolve this issue. So this is what I do. And you can make an appointment with me at bookwithsally.com, SALLY, bookwithsally.com. Or if you would like my free gift, it's Sally's, SALLYS,
Mm-hmm.
gift, GIFT.com, sallysgift.com. If you go there, you can find out about the alchemical healing of sound and light. Because as souls, we are energy, vibration, and consciousness. And those are such powerful aspects of our healing. When you go there, you'll get a free alchemical light and sound access to my video that takes you into the place where you ignite the sacred light of your soul
Okay.
and you feel the heart of divine love.
Wow.
You feel that divine love energy. And as it's like, I think it's like around 15 minutes, you listen to this it shifts your energy, your consciousness, your emotions.
Mhm.
It helps you relax and feel peaceful, but it also helps you find the inner truth and clarity of your heart. So
Beautiful.
please connect. I'd love to connect. And what a joy and privilege to talk to you today.
Same here, Sally. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next time we get to connect and do this again. And thank you for sharing your experience and your journey with us. It couldn't have been easy, but it's brought you
No,
so
I
much.
don't recommend it. That's
No.
not the way to figure it out. There's
But
an
this is
easier
your
way.
journey, your path. Here you are now teaching and
Yes.
helping others. So
Yes.
thank you. And thank you for helping me today. Have a great day and looking forward to our next show. Thanks so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.